All right, hi everyone, welcome. I'm responding to a really good question that I got in the homework document about ICl4- and how we would go ahead and set up that Lewis structure. This is a little bit more complicated than the Lewis structures we saw in class, so I think this is a really good question to be asking. So where I'm going to start here, instead of even starting with trying to draw out the Lewis structures and the valence electrons, I'm recognizing that this is going to be an expanded octet because iodine and chlorine, they're both in group 17. If iodine is my central atom, well, iodine normally already has 7 valence electrons. If I'm attaching 4 things to it, if it's sharing with 4 different chlorines, well, I'm already seeing that there is an expanded octet situation there. And so I know that the Lewis diagram is going to be a little tricky to get right. Where I'm actually going to start here is I'm going to predict how many total electrons need to be represented in my Lewis structure. How do I figure out the total electrons for my valence structure? Well, I'm going to, for my Lewis structure. Well, I'm going to focus in on the fact that I know how many valence electrons iodine and chlorine have when they're neutral, and then I know the entire polyatomic ion has a 1- charge, so it should have 1 more electron than my neutral atoms would have. So each iodine has 7 valence electrons. Each chlorine also has 7 valence electrons, and this is times 4. And then I know that I need to add 1 valence electron for the entire structure to have a charge of -1. All right, so now I have 7 plus 28 plus 1, which is 36 valence electrons. So I'm going to keep this in mind as I try to draw my Lewis structure. Well, I is going to go in the middle, and then I is going to make some single bonds with chlorine. That's kind of the only thing that makes sense because that gives each of my chlorines a full octet. Chlorine now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shared in here, valence electrons. And so I'm trying to get to an octet. I know iodine will have an expanded octet, but if I can get to an octet, that's great. And so this situation gives chlorine an octet. All 4 chlorines have an octet. And so now let's see how many electrons I've represented so far. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And that's just in the lone pairs. Each single bond contains 2 electrons. So I had 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 electrons are represented so far. And I know there need to be 36 electrons in total. So I have 4 electrons left. Well, 4 electrons are going to make 2 lone pairs. So I'm going to represent 1 lone pair, a second lone pair. All right, so this is going to be the Lewis structure for iodine chloride, ICl4-. And now if I'm trying to look at the molecular geometry, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 electron domains. So 6 electron domains is over here. And we see the bond angles are either 90 degrees or 180 degrees. 90 degrees between these two and then 180 between these 2 domains. All right, hope that helps. Let me know what questions you have.